the psalmist, David. So when you understand that once you start, you see yourself sitting in the God seat in triple darkness in the middle of nowhere, and you recognize and observe that position. You sitting in the center of creation. That's the mindset. You sitting in the center of creation and you creating everything. Okay, now you would simplify the totality of creation. You got to bring it into your 3D model of yourself. I'm God pretending to be Rod. How am I supposed to behave as God in this 3D realm? This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to rewrite who the system told me to be. I'm not going to be Rod. I'm going to be Morpheus Mysticus Magus. Morpheus Mysticus Magus is our chemical name that was adopted by the character Rod in order to break free from the character Rod and become the embodiment of the liberating mind that I want to be, so that I can help other people liberate their mind. So more.
Yeah, family, my fault. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Something happened with the link that I sent the sister, so I had to send her another. I had to send her another link. But what's going on with y'all in the chat? What's going on with y'all in the chat? How y'all doing? This should be a good show tonight, y'all. Oh man, it should be a good show tonight. The sister, I've heard a lot of things about the sister right here from King Simon and Hank Rising son. So it's gonna be, yeah, it's a timely topic, and the thing I like about the topic is that whether you have a partner or not, this is an energy that we all have. It's not something that you need a part. This is just a creative energy that exists within us that just needs to be consciously redirected. And I guess with the right guidance, we could all redirect energy to, wherever our intention lies. So it should definitely, be a great show. With that being said, I want to welcome Peace Queen. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, doing great. With
Good,
that being
good.
said, I was just getting the family ready for the show. I was telling them I'm excited. Tell the people your name real quick. It's Adara Moselle, right? Am I
Yeah.
pronouncing it right?
Yes, Adara Moselle. How everybody doing?
All right. I was telling them King Simon has been telling me about you for a while. Tell the people exactly what you do.
So I am a tantric shaman, and what I do is I help people to navigate the connection between their physical self and their quote unquote higher self, right? So a lot of things we're doing is trying to access it, tap into it, be aligned with it, but there's an actual process of making that happen. And there are certain things your consciousness goes through, your mind goes through, your body goes through, life adjusts around you. So how do we actually do this so we're successful at it? So I'm more of an actual experience person. I help provide experience for people to meet themselves in some very unique ways. I help people to see God in themselves, like literally, like very, very literally. And I'm just of the tribe of people who are here to help you put into play and experience the things that you've read about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, experience, lady. Experience.
So speaking of things we read about,
Yeah.
something that always stuck out to me, Adara, is when I read, oh man, I read this book, Think and Grow Rich. Wow, I might have been about 21 years old, 20 or 21 years old. And one of the most popular books in the world, Napoleon Hill. Let me
Mm-hmm.
put this on mute. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And what surprised me was that I'm learning about money and how to have a certain mind state for attracting wealth in my life. And then out of nowhere, I see a chapter on sexual transmutation. And in my mind at that time, I'm like, how the hell? And this is pre-internet. So everybody's like, oh, this is before there was a abundance of information everywhere. And
Right.
I'm like, what the hell is a sex chapter doing in a money book? And then I started to get into Montauk Chia and all that stuff, and I started to understand about energy and things like that. But let me read toward the end of the chapter on sexual transmutation. Let me read something before as we get started on this magnificent show. Everybody who's coming in, welcome. Make sure you tell your friends and family of this great show tonight that I know we can all benefit from.
Absolutely.
Napoleon Hill wrote, Adara, he wrote, sexual energy is the creative energy of all geniuses. There never has been and never will be a great leader, builder, or thinker without sexual energy. This is not optional if you want to become great. But here lies the choice. You can satisfy your desires and stay where you are, or you could transmute your energy and become something the world has never seen.
Ashay.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Ashay, absolutely, man.
So I read that. I'm like, whoa, I'm like, become something the world has never seen. I'm like, whoa, that sounds powerful.
Yeah.
This force that's in us. Explain to the people who are just looking at it in terms of pleasure. What does this force mean to us, to our avatar outside of just stimulating our pleasure centers in our body?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me up here to have this conversation and just being open to a different perspective on this. So, like I said, I'm a shaman. There's certain ways that we do things, right? So, we normally have fireside chats where we sit around and we kind of pontificate and contemplate on different things. So, some of the things I offer to you guys this evening, just chew on it. Right, just chilling. We're gonna vibe, just have a nice little conversation, and I'm gonna do my best to bring it to you in a way that lands in so many ways you can't deny it. All right, so that is my goal. And the first thing we have to kind of talk about is like perspective, perspective. And I feel like there's two kinds of people on the earth, right? It's people who are here because they're subjected to a prison sentence and they're down here on a punishment. And there's other people who are here to be God at play. You know what I mean? And to exercise the gifts and the abilities that we had as source once we decide to forget it and try to see if we can remember it. So this is how we remember ourselves, right? We remember ourselves through the access of this energy. First, we got to remember that we have this energy, and then there's a system designed to access it. And then once we access it, who is deciding what we're doing with it? Are you a human or a divine being, right? If you're a human, you're going to decide to do certain things with your sexual energy. If you're a divine being, you are going to have the mind of creativity to bring out and birth out things the world has never seen before because you created the world in the first place.
Yes.
You see, it came out of the Most High's imagination, and so does everything. Okay, so when we talk about it, energy is energy. It's just which way that this one choose to come forward. And this one came out of desire for things to be created. Let's talk about that desire for things to be created. And then also the wisdom and understanding to put a process of creation together so things can be created. And then a system within ourselves, we can easily get the tools to do this, right? So I start with, are we human divine being? Are you on a slave ride, or are you here to just flex your muscle? And if the answer is the second, you're going to do things totally different than the person who answers the question to the first. Like, I'm here because I was sentenced here, right? So I'm just going to have this conversation from the perspective of the people who are here to maximize and really see their God in their lives. Like I was raised Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a firm believer that I don't have to die to see heaven on earth. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
I
I
hear
don't have to die to like, I
you.
don't have to die for nothing. I don't even know if death is really a thing. You see what I'm saying? I just think it's life in a whole bunch of different forms. So
Okay.
why should I wait for whatever happens for things to change in my life? And we take this down to the micro level. Why do I have to wait for somebody to love me to feel love?
Mm.
Let me use this creative force to find
There you
different and interesting ways for me to satisfy this thing that I see as love.
There you
All
go.
right. And for me, I guess I get down. I ain't trying to get too ahead of myself. So the first thing we do is we use the creative faculty to figure out what the real problem is. We observe, we watch, we listen, we feel our bodies, right? We feel our bodies and see what am I really asking for. And once I have that answer, now I can do or find whatever tools and apply whatever tools I have to do so that I can achieve this goal, right? So you say, hey, I'm sick. I think the problem is pork. So I'm going to stop eating pork and be a vegan. I want love. I think I can't find love because I'm unlovable or because people aren't good enough or whatever different reasons. And then based off that, you come up with different remedies for fixing this problem. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So
Mm-hmm.
it all starts in the mind. And then you take this sexual energy, which is like raw crude oil that can be fashioned and refined into anything. And you put it towards everything. First, creating yourself to be the person that you want to see. Second, creating opportunities for you to live out a life that you want to see. And then in that, love comes. And in that, success comes. In that, growth comes. You see what I'm saying? So when we are taking it from a high level perspective and then bringing it down, because in Tantra, we deal with source. This is a source thing. This is a sovereignty thing. This is not something that you can be a victim and play with. That's why a lot of sexual magic don't work, family. You can't be a victim and play with this. You have to be brutally honest, brutally authentic, brutally real with yourself in a way that scares most people, which is why we do shadow work, but one, we also deal with sex because sex is one of the biggest blocks of spiritual development. Most people can't get over it. They can't get over it. They can't handle it. They can't manage it. And they start denying it. And then once you start denying it, your life goes haywire. You start making bad decisions.
Mm.
You know, everything is just stacked against you. So we just boss up. We face it head on. We do the work, supposedly. Most of us are supposed to be doing the work. We do the work and out comes the outcome. So let's say you are just visualizing and try to satisfy yourself to a goal.
Mm.
It ain't really gonna work. It'll do something, but it's also gonna be very chaotic and very imprecise and like your child trying to paint a picture. And it ain't gonna look like nothing you want to see, you know? So there's a lot of tools and techniques that we employ. I do something called tantric body work, which is a style of energy healing, which is designed to help you return to your original DNA blueprint and then access all the information that's locked inside your DNA from this life, other lives, other planets, whatever. And that's really how I started experiencing so many of the things I've experienced that I never thought was really real. And I tell my students all the time, like when we do ritual, we do ceremonies and stuff like that, and I do my full possession, which we can get into later. I do this so I know I'm not crazy. Because if y'all seeing God come down, I know I didn't imagine it. If I open my heart and you hit the floor, okay, now we on to something. You see, we're on to something. And it's just an opportunity for us just to flex our God-like muscle. It really, really is.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of these exercises that can you give an example of something that you do or somebody could do at home to transmute this energy? How exactly does this work?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on where you are in your energetic makeup. Okay, so we have wiring. If people talk about their chakra systems, their nadi systems, all of this, but there is a gauge of wiring inside your body, and you have to have a certain amount of capacity to hold it. So some of the things we first started doing is trying to build this energy system. The easiest way is to process your emotions. Like, you don't have to be like no alternate nostril breathing. Like, you can do this. Most of the stuff and most of the problem is because people don't use the free things that we have. One of them is simply changing your perspective. Changing your perspective frees up so much energy in your body. When you have all of these limiting beliefs and these beliefs that are really, when people go through the thinking process, they swear they're thinking, but they're really just rearranging prejudices, but you're not really getting to anything. You're not honest with yourself enough to get any real answers. If you're not going to be honest with yourself, none of the energetic practices are going to work. I don't really care. Even if you're like, I'm not going to say an evil person or somebody who doesn't want all this highfalutin stuff. You got to at least be honest with your desires and you put pure, potent energy into it, whether it's dark magic, light magic, you got to put pure, potent energy into it. And some of the things that I see in our community starts with the fact that we're very ungrounded. Very, very ungrounded. And because we're ungrounded, we're not able to intuit and focus down the wisdom that's coming from the Most High. Our hearts are shut down because for whatever myriad of reasons, we've decided that we have to protect ourselves from so many things. So our energy lays dormant and recessed and locked up and blocked up. And we don't move. Like, we move, but we move with insecurity. We move and we care what we look like when we're dancing, all this stuff. So at least in this community, we have stuff like ecstatic dance, which moves your fascia and releases certain energy like that. But honestly, it is the ability to watch yourself and your thoughts. So some people call this meditation. Mm-hmm. With meditation, I think a lot of people are kind of putting the wrong pressure on themselves. Like, they're not doing enough or doing it right or whatever. But all meditation really is bringing yourself back and watching your thoughts. So your mind is supposed to wander. Your mind is supposed to go all over the place. This is part of your creative faculty kicking in and scanning and looking and finding the thing that lines up with your heart, your desires, so that you have a one eye all the way down, right? And as we are sitting in meditation and looking, be it through listening to music and focusing on our breath, or doing it in dance, doing it in love making, doing it when you're playing with your kids, whatever, all you're doing is watching yourself and allowing yourself to see who's talking in your head and where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. When we do that on a regular, it only takes a lot. Like, there's a study, it's like 12 minutes for 8 weeks and your brain changes. Your brain changes, and now the person that you are thinking and perceiving yourself to be is something totally different. So the limitations that you perceived yourself to have are no longer there. The creative blocks you thought that you have are no longer there. Simply by doing 12 minutes of relaxed meditation, which is breathing slowly, 4 breaths in, hold for 4 breaths, 4 breaths out, 4 seconds out, and then hold for 4, right? 4 count, box breath, simple box breath. And then just watching yourself. And then this is another thing that people don't really understand. When we are doing practices like meditation and stretching and all this, I know it sounds boring, family. I know it doesn't sound important. I know it sounds lame. But this is a real act of self-love. The reason why I say that is because whoever, we have a tendency to beat ourselves down with negative thinking. We have a tendency to overthink. If you have high blood pressure, I can almost guarantee that you think intensely. And chances are you may not be thinking the most positive things about yourself, the life around you, all of this. That weighs on your body. So when you are doing meditation and just give your body a break from thinking all of these things that are, one, lowering your vibration, causing illness in your system, and disorienting your whole navigational system because it can't really find truth in the things that you're saying to yourself, but you keep badgering yourself with it, you're slowly killing yourself. You're killing yourself. And there ain't no kale for it. There is no magnesium for it. You have to change your perspective and how you deal with yourself. And first off is loving this thing that we're so disconnected from. We think this is an animal body. We think that it's super flawed and that it was created by Anunnakis and all this different stuff. But we don't understand that the body is a real elemental. It's a real spirit within it of itself, right? Within and of itself, like everybody that's ever lived and has ever died has a shared body map. This is what is interfacing with your soul, where you're making soul contracts and signing to be here. It's doing the same thing for animals and plants. It's navigating how you're going to come together. Like, yes, we have this blueprint, but there's a consciousness and wisdom behind that. This is the thing that's storing your emotions in your body. This is the thing that's turning those unspoken untruths into cancer cells. This is the same thing that's turning it into negative entities. This is the same thing that's also liberating you. And then when you give yourself the resources needed through movement, meditation, energy work, just opening your heart in different ways we're going to end up talking about, it can then now download and tune into what it actually wants to bring down, which is the cosmic code. It's designed to bring down the cosmic code. It's easy. It's ingrained in you. Like, all you really have to do is get out of the way. And this is a process of unlearning. So we say, how do I switch sexual energy into creativity? First, unlearn that there's a difference between the two. First, let go of all these segregative thinking. First, stop thinking that your higher self or your lower self are two different things. We're all inhabiting the same thing at one single point in time and light and whatever. It's one condensation that we're all experiencing subjectively. And all of that, even though we're experiencing subjectively, is the source experiencing itself and learning itself. There is no real separation. So now we have perspective that there is no real separation. So now all I got to do is call myself. I got to call myself by the truth of who I am, or what's my real name. So God said my real name is love. Christ says my real name is consciousness. You know, is your real name hate or this, or, you know, what do you know yourself to be? And if that's something that is not true in your heart, then now we have a road to start walking so that we can get to this thing that my identity that I know myself as is what feels true to my soul. When I started doing this work, I was so freaking disconnected. Like, I had times where I was suicidal. I've had times where I was so shy. I wouldn't do anything. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't have no money. I was homeless. I did all the things, fam. All the things. Like, God found me in the hood, family. Like, they didn't find me in no jungles in Peru. They didn't find me like whatever other stories people be having. God found me in the gutter where God be at. Where God be at. Mm-hmm. And when the truth hits you, it's going to hit you 9 times out of 10 on your shadow state where you're having a dark night of the soul. Not dark night of the soul. Dark night of the ego. Because the soul is putting the ego in check, which is why you're on rock bottom in the first place. And then it shows you that no matter what you have or don't have, what you need or don't need, spirit is always there and always with you. So how could you ever be separated? So now when you can't love, you're still loved. And that opens your heart in a different way. And so you just end up navigating life differently. And the more you just follow this, I call it pleasure pathway, just follow this pleasure pathway of what actually feels good to your spirit, to your soul. And then it's showing you results in your life. Energy just open up. You don't have to do anything. It's on autopilot, honestly.
Do you think there's anything wrong with if a person has a low sex drive? Is that a sign of low creativity, or do you think that, you know?
Well, it's a hypothalamus issue most times, right? So we have like our physical libido, we have our sensual and sexual desire, and then we have our drive, which is our underlying motivation. A lot of people, we just have an under operating hypothalamus. That's going to be low libido. It's going to possibly cause fibroids, depression, anxiety. It is the regulator of all of your different root senses. You know what I mean? So just basic lifestyle. We live a very unnatural life. And outside of the libido thing, which is a major situation, It's a major situation because it's causing a lot of problems, oftentimes in women, because I don't really know how much I guess I can go into it until you stop me, right? But I ain't trying to like scare the people. And I know this kid's probably listening, so I'm gonna keep it in bounds and stuff like that. But there's a lot of reason why people got low libido, and it's not because I want to say you might do have low creativity, because when your hypothalamus is underactive, you can't care about things other than survival, really. So your ability or desire to want to even solve problems, or look at things in a different way, or see beauty outside of the things that you're normally used to, like your awareness just isn't really there. You just don't have it. You just really, really don't have it. But your libido is not what causes you not to have low creativity. You have low creativity and low libido because you have low energy in your lower dantian. Right. And you have low energy in your sacral chakra, root chakra, and it's probably because you have too much energy in your head. Too much energy in your head, like all this pineal stuff, like it's great and everything, but it's throwing people off, which is why some people in our community has mental illness. Right. They don't talk about it, like especially like talking about the stuff that we talk about. A lot of people got mental illness, and they have no one to talk about because they feel so isolated. So hypothalamus issue will also make you feel not connected, because oxytocin is the bonding hormone. And if you're not experiencing pleasure, you're not getting oxytocin. So people eat candy, people do drugs, people do all this different stuff trying to get a little bit of oxytocin. All right. And this oxytocin is, people talk about it in a bad way. They talk about dopamine and oxytocin in a bad way. But these hormones are really cold regulators for your energy body. It's an opportunity, and it gives the human self an opportunity to practice divine union in digestible doses. So when you're having making love with your partner or with yourself, or however you do it, you're feeling good in whatever way, you are experiencing a very high level of oxytocin and dopamine release, which is higher than most drugs. So if we get into the whole conversation of like what's really happening when we're like trying to cultivate sexual energy and move sexual energy, which I really think we could, and I think like the people would actually appreciate, then you get to look to see like this thing that I have been repressing, one, makes my brain so much stronger, so much bigger. This thing that I have been trained to think is frivolous and nebulous, which like people think pleasure is so weak. Pleasure is super powerful. It is a thing that's going to take you out of stress, take you out of trauma, take you out of fight or flight, because you have two systems, more than two. But we're going to talk about these two systems. And the rest and digest system is the one you got to be in to manifest. You got to be in it, right? The only way that you're not going to be in it is if you're so far in pain that you've gone into trance and you can't see anything else other than your focused anger and rage about your situation not being that way. So you have to be extreme anger over here, or a wide range of pleasure and oxytocin over here. Because when you are in these states, your brain, your heart, your breath all gets to a state of coherence. Now your IQ literally goes up. It literally goes up, and every function in your body starts working better than it has before. So if you are trying to focus, if you are trying to tap into the universe, your guides, your angels, your spirit. And like when I tell y'all, family, the connection gets so strong, like your life could be like stuff that people read about. It's that strong. Like I remember when I was Christian, I was in church for like, from time I was born to like my 20s or something like that. I seen God literally more in 2 years than I seen the whole time in church, practicing tantra, doing this energy work, doing this breath work, living by the laws of God, and not even in like a perfect way, in a half-ass way. You know what I mean? Right. But when I tell you, family, your gifts shoot up, your ability to get people to see you a certain kind of way, not like you try to manipulate people, but being real regular, because I'm a regular person and I help people to actually live this life. I'm not just here just to give you a bunch of lecture notes and stuff like that, family. I want y'all to actually be different when you leave this conversation. When because we just gonna go into it. All right. When you are willing to own this thing that you are, own this thing that you are in an unabashed way, your God gives kick on. So a lot of us get upset because we feel like the people around us don't see us the way we think we should be seen. I'm a conscious person. I've been studying, I've been meditating, I've been manifesting, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm trying to take it to my mom over here who's still, you know, smoking Newports and eating this and doing that and totally shut down. And she don't believe anything I say. And I don't understand why she can't see the truth that I see. I don't understand why we can't. And it gets down on you. Now you feel misunderstood. You feel alone. You feel like nothing is aligning for you so that you can actually be this person that you think that you are. That's an identity issue, right? And there's ways that we can use this thing like Napoleon Hill's talking about to change our perspective from people looking at us. So the other night I was reading, I don't know if you're familiar with Neville Goddard.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, Neville Goddard, right? And there's this book he has called The Outer Worlds. And he was talking about changing your concept of self.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are creative enough, you can use the same sexual energy to manifest or visualize people responding and seeing you the way you truly want to see yourself.
Right.
I lost 60 pounds doing it. I ain't do no exercise.
Just,
I ain't changed my diet. Literally 60 pounds. It hasn't came back. Every time I do a event or anything, I am changing and readjusting the way that I come across so that I'm the person that can deliver the message the way I need to deliver it for the people who need to have it. And it's something that I meditate on. I don't work a job, but if I had a job interview, you can use this so that not that you answer the perfect questions for your interviewer, but more so they see you as a perfect candidate so that no matter what you say lands for them. This is how you can really play this energetic game. Like we think so much in a box about this energy word. We think so much in a box about pleasure and love and relationships and the purpose of. And my desire is for people to just open your mind and stop putting things in so many boxes so that you can say, hey, this meditation is not something that's supposed to be done in my room by myself. This is something I'm supposed to use when I'm flipping out in real time. This is something I'm supposed to use when my heart is broken, when my money is funny, when people are yelling at me, not when everything is perfect. Like, this is why the tools are not working, family. Y'all use them in the wrong time, first off. These are actual things that you're supposed to build with and interface with, like so many things. So, it's just so many different ways, yo.
What do you in terms of utilizing this creative? I like what you said in the beginning. You said a big problem in us, I guess, thinking sexual energy and creative energy is two different things.
Yeah.
What do you think is more effective in terms of utilizing this energy for, let's just say, to be creativity or to be a super genius? Now, I'm gonna give you two examples, and it doesn't have to be an either or, but I've just noticed two different ways that people going about it. So we have somebody who may say, "Hey, I'm gonna find a mate, and I'm gonna practice sex magic, and when we climax at the same time, we're gonna think about the same thing, and we're gonna bring it into fruition because I'm the man, she's the woman, and we're combining our energies, and we're gonna manifest this realm we want." You have that perspective. Then you have somebody like a Nikola Tesla, one of the biggest genius we've heard or seen in the last 100 years. Dude wasn't hitting nothing. Saved all his energy, creative, sexual, tantric energy for creative purposes, for inventions, but wasn't touching nothing. What do you think is the best route when it comes to tapping into your genius? To just save your energy and not to release it at all during sex, or to find a mate and combine your energies and think about what you want to manifest at the same time to create something?
Good question. So I think it's both, right? Like you said, not either or.
Yeah.
And I actually read a publication Nikola Tesla wrote about himself, and he was talking about how he would have these times where he would binge on stuff, like he would just smoke a hell of a lot of cigarettes for like a month and then never smoke again, or he would gamble like crazy for like 2 months and then never do it again. So he had these outlets where he was using the same energy. He just wasn't necessarily, and he like, I think actually used to see prostitutes and stuff too. He was talking about, but just for like small periods. Right. And there has to be an outlet in some way, right? But the cultivation of sexual energy is primo. The reason why I say it's primo is because, like I said, it's oil versus gasoline. You got crude oil and you got that gasoline. So when you're able to hold your seed, one, you have the original, and when I say hold your seed, I mean for men and women. All right. And so there's a difference between climax and orgasm. You're supposed to be using your orgasm, not your climax, family. That's first. So the fact that let's talk about the difference. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay. So climax, it is a muscular spasm kind of thing. It signifies the ending of your arousal, and it's mostly a physiological situation. All right. So you are rubbing, and then there's a spinal reflex that happens. It starts pumping stuff. And when it starts pumping stuff, it starts sending vibrations through your fascia, and your fascia starts vibrating like this. All right? Vibrating like that. And then that can go into full body things. This is what you hold for a little while. Orgasm, on the other hand, is expansive and full and radiates through your whole body. Also, it shuts down what's called your default mode network. And this is where your ego lives. This is where you put up all the different walls of being honest with yourself or being present with your partner. This is the thing that's having you have random sexual encounters for no reason. All of this, right? So when you're having real orgasm, you have moments of real clarity. Your whole body might shut down. And when you're having real ones, you might not be able to talk for real. Okay, so all of this, like say my name and stuff, is going to come out the window. We're going to talk about that in a second too. It goes totally out the window. So getting that orgasmic energy to flow through your body, which is not necessarily tied to genitals, does not have to be done in sex, or it can be done through allowing yourself simply to appreciate the joy of something and then letting that joy flow through your body. And what that looks like, I'm not gonna do anything weird, but what that looks like is, I'm so happy that I get an opportunity to share this moment with everybody here, right? I get this opportunity to create a container for us to really possibly liberate ourselves from something that's been holding our people down for years, hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. And the fact that I get to be a part of that awakening feels really, really good to my body, really, really good to my mind, really good to my heart. And the more I feel that and allow myself to like just savor in how good that is, that can send orgasmic waves through the body easily. All right. If we're with our partner and we are getting it good and we have gotten out of our left brain, which we could talk about some as well, get out of our left brain and we are in trance, right? Sex puts us in trance. It's one of the fastest ways of putting us in trance. And then you have this orgasm. Often, if you have the orgasm and the climax together, you can really, really burst through some things. So as a woman, we represent chaos. And in chaos, we represent all of the possible options that could be had. The man represents focus, consciousness, direction, organization. All right. It's like his member comes to an end and the woman is just open like this, and he can pretty much hit any dial that brings up any option within her that he wants to. So we're talking about focusing visualization, and we're holding our things at the same time. The man has to know what part of the woman he has to access to get into that place. So it's not just about shooting random power at stuff. We want to actually like aim at a target and hit it, and to actually have the right I can't think of the gun terminology, the bullet size, whatever. We want to actually have the right capacity to open up that door. So you got to have your heart into it. because your heart is going to expand the energy that your orgasm or climax, whichever you choose to use, is going to be able to do. Also, having your pineal and your crown tapped in, chakra to chakra. You don't have to be holding your head, but chakra to chakra, so that you guys can visualize the same thing. And then on top of that, we want to visualize something that is of the best and highest outcome for us, that leaves everybody better than where we found them. This cuts out errors. This cuts out you getting money by getting in a car crash. This cuts out you getting money because your husband got a worker's comp because he got hurt. This cuts out all of these different things. And then more than that, you can just open up and say, God, what do you have for me that I can't even imagine? And then just allow yourself to experience the downpouring or the download of all the beautiful things that the universe sees for itself that you have the ability to have. Now you got creative ideas. Now you got something to drive from, because can't nobody see that. And they're not going to see it the way you saw it, because 99% of the people don't even think this is a possibility. They think it's weird. Why they over there busting, doing all the weirder things, thinking that this is strange, right? So when we talk about holding, we want to talk about what are we holding. If we are just a random guy who hasn't busted a nut in like 6 months, and you're thinking all these negative stuff still, and you're eating all this terrible food, you're not going to be able to hold your seed anyway. Your body's going to eject it. So you have to start putting your mind on healthy things, putting your energy on healthy things, the way and why you desire a partner. What you see in the opposite sex or same sex, if that's where you are, has to be different. You can't want a woman because a woman is somebody who's supposed to cook and clean for you. That's not going to get you manifestation, baby. It's not going to do it. All right. That's a very arcane way of seeing. And we are in new earth now. The world has changed, and we are evolved into new beings, and we are designed to do new things. So to only box the feminine energy in your life into doing certain things, or she's only here to support this or that, or the man is only here to pay for stuff, or you're putting a dangerous and very limiting box on humanity's evolution, yourself, what you can achieve, all of that, right? So let's say we are two people that are aligned. We are two people that have been working on ourselves. We can definitely have more power doing this sexual stuff. And you don't have to ejaculate to do sex magic. You guys can still be doing it, right? But when you do ejaculate, it's going to be amazing. It really is. But you're also going to feel very drained. You're going to feel very tired, and chances are you're going to wish that you didn't do it. But I do recommend, like, at the end of a project, let it go, so your body can reset. Otherwise, you're going to constantly be in the loop of, I have to keep doing more. You'll never rest.
What is the connection between sexual energy or this creative energy and melanin? And the reason why I asked that is because when a melanin dominant individual, by the time they're like 12, society's looking at them like a 12-year-old girl to society. She's like a 28-year-old girl. All the other 12-year-old girls from other races, they get to be 12-year-old girls. Yeah. When a sister's 12-year-old, she's 30 to these motherfuckers out here. You know what I'm saying? The same with brother, like Trayvon Martin. He's 14. They thought he was the Incredible Hulk at 14.
For real, like,
what is it about melanin and people looking at us in this way as this, as this being, this sexual being? We could do any little thing we do. They're like, oh, look what they're doing. They're doing this. They're doing that. It's like I'm like, what is it? What's the connection between melanin and this energy that we're talking about?
That's a good question. I have a couple of different views and theories, right? And one of them is that because of melanin, we radiate such a strong charge, and our blood is so crystalline. So when we have this crystalline blood, every movement that we have is going to cause electric charge, because there's piezoelectricity, right? Piezoelectricity. It's a pressure caused electricity. So when you hit something, you're letting an electric charge through the body. Every time you walk, bow, bow, bow. You switch them hips, pop, bow, bow. And you can't help it. You're just moving through trying to get some candy from the ice cream man. You don't know. It's hot, sweaty, you got on shorts. You're just trying to stay cool. Legs sweating. Here come whoever down the street looking at you at 13, seeing all these lustful things, because you're literally broadcasting this magnificence, right? You're broadcasting this magnificence, and then the sun is enhancing it. And then I've studied some things, right? And in a lot of the tantric stuff, and not even just tantric stuff, but Taoist literature, there is a cultivation of saliva. There's an understanding of sweat. There's an understanding, fearfully, wonderfully made. There is a wisdom in all of our fluids. There's a wisdom in every single cell radiating this majesty, right? And the melanin is a chemical representation of majesty. I personally believe, and you can't live without the majesty. That's one of the reasons we know that we're still our source, right? Because you have to have these little different things that lives on this physical plane and on this energetic plane, right? So like our nadis and our meridians, they're physical and energetic at the same time. Our nervous system is physical and energetic at the same time. And that sadly, they have learned to reharness and redirect this thing, which is why we're so super over sexualized at young ages. So as a woman, I was thinking about this the other day, man. I think about this all the time. Y'all like I'm laughing at me, whatever, but that's fine. I grew up in the ages before jeggings and before like jeans that stretched, and girls with big booties had to wear Gap jeans. We didn't look right. We didn't look right. It just didn't look the same as it looks right now, family. But even then, it was a bunch of old men trying to like steal your innocence and all this other stuff because they didn't have an opportunity to manage their over sexualization at young ages. The goonery, like all the things, it's just this broadcast that we have. And then we get locked into these societal conditions and norms that then re-imprint and traumatize us and lock us into this idea of self that we are these sexual animals that they try to make us. Instead of the fact that I'm literally radiating the juice of God. So this, what you're calling sexual energy, is just my life force pouring through me. It's literally pouring through me. You can't stop it. It's dripping, baby. It's dripping. It's dripping. But they have to do different things to like turn us off of that, man. And melanin is just, it's powerful. It's powerful. It's powerful. Because like I would get into the whole carbon thing, but I think it's more of a crystalline thing, the crystal in our blood, I really, really do. I really do.
When I talk to when I talk to brothers like KT and the brothers in the health community, Yaki, they'll talk about like the food we eat. Sometimes if we say we're eating food that has nutrients in it, sometimes depending on what's in your body, the parasites could steal the nutrition from the food. So you may be eating healthy, but you're not getting better because the parasites is taking the nutrition from your food and your body's not getting it. Is that the same with sexual energy? When we utilize the sexual energy, if we do have parasites in our body, can they steal the sexual creative energy from us? We think we're transmuting, transmitting, and doing all this. Little do we know they got the juice and we ain't got it. So are they able to steal sexual energy the same way they're able to steal nutrients from the food that we eat?
I think that gut parasites and these little bacteria do also correlate to energetic parasites.
Okay.
And I think that we have far more energetic parasites than we have gut parasites. And there's not a lot of things being done to rectify that. Mm-hmm. And sexual interactions and energy is one of the currents that they live and ride on because it's so potent. It's like it's like ants getting a watermelon or something.
They get good example. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And again, y'all, I just got to beat this home. This concept of self is what's giving your energy away and letting you be successful with this thing. So there's a lot of conversation going around about like we have sex with people, we trade energies and all this stuff. But I'm not gonna like go against that. However, I'm going to add a little bit more clarity, I believe, to this because when we're having casual sexual engagements with people people are grasping too much for them. Like a young lady might meet a young man and he's like, hey girl, from the jump, I'm just trying to have fun with you. Internally, she might be trying to grasp for something in him to make her whole, or grasping for something in him that makes her feel lovable or something like that. And in that grasping, you're also grabbing those insecurities where all these entities are lying. Just like when you bite that whatever, you're also chewing and swallowing and digesting those parasites that get in your gut. Right. You see? And then when we are, because I'm just a sovereign being, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just a sovereign being, and I really don't. I think that things affect us, but not in the same way. Because in my teachings and what I was learned, we was learned to be diamonds amongst glass. You see, I'm a shaman. We look at the world. Be like the redwood. I'm poison to the insects, so you're not going to harbor me. Period. So it's a totally different kind of mindset, but it can steal your energy for sure, because it's going to make your body just not work very well. And if your kidneys are shut down, your kidney function, you're not going to be able to produce life force energy. Life force energy is housed in your kidneys. Your water element is going to be off. Therefore, all the other elements are going to have to overcompensate. And like when I'm talking about elements, I'm talking about the traditional Chinese medicine perspective of the elements family. So there's obviously fire, earth, air, water, but there's also metal and wood. And each one of these things feed into the others for optimal health. And the gut parasites throw all of that up. But so do the mental and emotional, all of them junks. All of them junks. And like I talk to Divine Mother a lot, and she be on that, yo. She does.
Indeed. One term I always hear about when I'm studying transmutation of sexual energy is the microcosmic orbit.
Absolutely.
In the body. Now, could you explain to people what exactly is the microcosmic orbit? That sounds real fancy in our body. What is it?
It's very simple. It does sound fancy. We make stuff sound so highfalutin, but actually, we have two channels in our body. And for the microcosmic orbit, we have one that's going this way, and we have another one that's going that way. The names matter. They don't really matter. We just need to understand that one's going this way, one's going that way. And for the women, the energy's coming up and going down the back. For men, the energy's going up the back and going down the front. Now, this style of the microcosmic orbit that I'm telling you about is not the one that you're going to find on the internet. This is what's taught in actual temples where we actually practice real energy cultivation. Not saying there's anything against that, but there are different mechanisms when you're sitting inside of a temple and a school. So this is not the same as in the book. But if we start at our sacral area here, and we just breathe deeply in through our nose, and then we put our tongue to the roof of our mouth, right behind our teeth, because that is going to clarify the flow of energy to make sure it goes the right places. And you simply inhale and imagine the energy is coming up, in through your mouth, coming down this way, and coming down, and storing back here your sacral, and then doing it again. For guys, you're doing the opposite. You're coming up your back, down the front, storing in your sacral. And what this is doing is ensuring that the energy in your body is flowing smoothly. Again, these are techniques that are built to mitigate lifestyle issues. So we do the microcosmic orbit to build energy, refine energy, distribute it to all of your organs, cells, blood vessels, brain, all of that. And then also, family, in this energy system, you have built-in protection. You have a built-in sheath around you called the Dong Mai that comes around the belt meridian. It's the only meridian that comes around this way, and it's your natural blocking defensing system. So when we are ignoring this so easy to access energy body of ours that's always with us, that's free no matter where you're living, you can tap into, we could be minimizing so many of these things that we're spending so much. I ain't trying to hate on nobody, spending so much money to fix. You don't need a reading. You need to work on your energy. You need to freaking first put some energy in your body because we're low energy, right? So we want to do all the sun gazing, which is great, but feeling joy is just as strong. And guess what? It's self-sourced. It's self-sourced. And the thing is, we want to do things that's self-sourced because it's going to confirm to you the fact that you are divine and you are everything that you think that you are, baby. You are everything that you've imagined that you are. And you have the ability to prove it to yourself every single day. So the microcosmic orbit is the fact that the universe is within you. and you can move it at will, at decision, whenever you want.
Indeed. You know, a huge problem in this society, and you hear people, a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people will say the same thing. They will say, men will say there aren't any good women out there. Women will say there aren't any good men out there. And a lot of people seem to be attracting the wrong person in their lives. They get upset and they say, oh, all men are dogs or all women are, whatever. I want to know, is there a connection with attracting the wrong person and the sexual energy that is surrounding your body? That's number one. Number two, does your practices that you do, have you seen results in the people that participate in your practices? Have they met better people in their life from changing or transmuting or, reorganizing their sexual energy?
Absolutely, absolutely. And like this is like where we actually start getting into the good stuff, actually.
Yeah.
So I met my partner this way. I was very single for a very long time. I had figured that I was just gonna have to co-parent, and I wasn't gonna be able to find anybody to love me in the way that I needed to, because I was hoping that there were people who could, but I just was starting to lose hope. And when I first experienced the energy work that I do, the tantric body work, I learned from a guy named Master Morris, and he was having a little event. And I was like, I've been working on myself a little bit. This is after I lost the 60 pounds from meditating and stuff, because I was listening to T. Harv Eckert, I was listening to Napoleon Hill and T.D. Jakes, and then I found Blog Talk Radio, and I started listening to like all of these type of guys. The Black consciousness is where I learned about melanin, all this stuff. So I had been on a road, and I worked on myself enough to like kind of put myself out there and kind of start working on possibly trying to find a mate, right? So I got on the table. Brother Oye was the guy who worked on me. I don't know if y'all know Brother Oye, but other Brother Oye was at one table. Actually, I was on another table. I laid down, and I was so nervous. And bro was like, just breathe, sis. Just breathe, right? He just starts doing the work. And it's in front of a bunch of people. And keep on, guys, I was super shy. I didn't know what was happening, but I started shaking. I started breathing heavy. My hands was coming up and floating up. I kept trying to put them down, and I couldn't. And like, I was going through this thing, and I was like, what is freaking happening to me? And I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. I'm just gonna follow this thing through to see what happens. So I get in the class, and come to find out, they're talking about what it means to be a real woman and a real man, according to the divine blueprint. Like there's these houses of what we call the house of the man and the house of the woman. And these are the attributes that make up real divine feminine and masculine energy. And this is what a real man or a real woman will display in the world. Okay, so there's categories. So for women, it's like the elegant rose, which is, the beautiful one that's okay being attractive, and the beautiful housemaking and all the stuff, the fancy chicks, that aspect of femininity. And then there's the nurturing, the moon aspect of it. And then there's the seated hawk, the intuitive faculty. And then there is the treasure chest, the money bringing faculty. And every woman has the ability to express these things. And your capacity to which you're able to express it is a measure of how much divine blueprint you actually have online. And in this class, we're going to learn how to bring this online, family. And this is the goal of all this energy work. So I've been doing it. He says, like I'm telling y'all, look at your limiting beliefs. Every time you have a limiting belief, challenge it and see where it's not true. And then now start looking at life more abundantly versus scarce. I started doing it. He's like, we're going to do these different rituals, simple stuff. Boom. And you're going to do regular energy work. You're going to learn the energy work. Did all of that. Over the first 3 months, I was a different person. 6 months, different. 9, different. 3 years, different. 6 years, different. 10 years, unrecognizable. Unrecognizable. If I knew myself as I am now at 19, I would have been my Shiro. The fact that I would be my own Shiro is what excites me, because all of these things that I was insecure about, because I was like, why doesn't the world see me the way I want to be seen? Like, I'm a good person. Like, I'm a really, really good person. I feel, like I may not look like her. I may not feel like her, but I deserve love, man. Like, this chick is evil and mean and treats you mean, little boy. This chick won't let you see your kids. This chick, I'm a good woman that just wants the best for you, family. Why is it so hard for me? Why is it so hard for me? When I started doing that work and making the changes of wrestling with those limiting beliefs and letting my energy refine to the truth of all of that and download these new codes that says, hey, baby girl, my name is Sarah, born Sarah. Hey, Sarah, I know you feel so deeply about this thing, but the way you're looking at it might be a little wrong, might not be serving you the way you need to. How about you look at it this way and realize that half those chips you have on your shoulder, they're not valid. And you could be a little happier. And now when I'm walking down the street, men are looking. They're like, you don't look nowhere near as angry as the rest of these chicks. Baby girl, you look good. Hold on. Who are you? What are you about? Let me just buy you some, girl. I don't even need to talk to you later. It's on me, baby. And because I was working downtown, right there by Centennial Tower, by the CNN Center, right by Olympic Park. So I had to walk for lunch and stuff. And the nature of the compliments I got started changing. When I was at Spelman in the West End, woke up down the street, filthy comments, yo. Filthy comments. Yo, I've been stacked since I was 13. Filthy comments.
Mm-hmm.
Doing this energy work, totally different. Like, the comments are like, I know you have to be married. You have to be this thing and that thing. The people that have started to learn this and do this, same thing. More authentic relationship, right? More authentic relationship. So good and bad, right? Because if you're in an inauthentic relationship, you become more authentic, it's going to break your relationship up. And I think it should. I should. However, you are going to start seeing things a little bit differently. So I'm like, all right, I have learned enough about myself where I have strong boundaries. I found my purpose and my path, and I need a partner who's going to support me in that and not be insecure when I do the things that I have to do, who sees the beauty in the work that I'm doing, the impact in the work that I'm doing, and appreciates. Every day, I'm honest, I'm navigating, I'm talking to these people like, this is where I'm at. And because I've been in these classes with all these other men who don't know me from Adam, who just want the best for me, and they're just sending me love to my heart 3 times a week, or when however much they're practicing sending love to women unconditionally, and I get to benefit from this. Now I know that good men exist. So now I can use my reticulated activating system to find the type of men that are going to radiate and resonate in the way I need to. And then also, what men represent to me greatly changed. I have a very deep and rich appreciation for the masculine and what it represents in this world, right? I have a very deep appreciation for the feminine. And in these classes and in this work, you can't help but to build that, because you're going to have these experiences where, for no other reason truly but the fact that you're there, somebody is doing their best to rewrite as much trauma as you're willing to allow to happen. You don't have to conceptualize it. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to actively be a part of it. You just have to say yes to it to whatever degree you're okay with. And when you get up off the table, you're going to be that much more changed than when you lay down. Well, to whatever degree, because you get to choose it. And all this is your energy coming back to you and showing you where society, life, utero, whatever has just slightly thrown you off kilter. So the fact that you think there's no good men is a trauma response. So you get a little energy work. You get to experience people who aren't trying to traumatize you, which is why pleasure is so important. Now you have to and are forced to change the way you see the world. And that's another reason why I really am out here doing this type of stuff, because as a collective, if we were able to change the baseline nature of how we relate to each other, there's nothing that we wouldn't be able to do. All of our power would come back. Your economics comes back. The household and family comes back. Good business comes back. Trusting your fellow man comes back. And then consciousness and the ability to defend yourself, the wisdom, the genius, all of that stuff comes back because this is how people are created. This is how culture is created. This is how not genetic, but collective karma is created. So right now we've created so much collective karma about men dogging women out, women dogging men out, all of this type of stuff. Like, we've had enough of that, family. It's time for us to switch this up because your sons, your daughters, you, me, our mothers, our fathers are all products of this type of thing, yo. Even like, we all go through heartbreak. This is the door that all of us walk through. All of us yearn for love, or at least have a consideration about it. All of us get a little horny sometimes. It's built into the system. So this is something that we have to navigate. And if we know how to deal with the psyche, the spirit, the emotions, the energy body, the way we navigate our relationships are going to totally change. So yes, there's good men out there. You're bad at finding them. Yes, there's good women. You're bad at finding them. One, your broadcast might be off. Two, you might be looking for the wrong things. Three, you're going to a store that doesn't sell what you're looking for, right? And we have to deal with those things versus attacking divinity, attacking people who have took the wrong turn to bliss, as Dan Winter would say, you know? And there's some people out here that are effed up. But I guarantee you, before they started being effed up to you, they showed you that they were effed up, right? First time somebody shows you who they are, believe it, right? Just all the things that grandma says. You had flags and you didn't want to believe it. Thing.
What is something somebody could immediately do if let's say they feel horny? How can they redirect that energy into creativity? Like, let's say somebody's sitting in their room, they're by themselves, they feel horny, they're not into porn or any crazy shit like that, but they want to redirect that energy because they know it's a potent energy into a creative purpose or perhaps something else. What is something you could recommend that they immediately do?
All right. Well, when we're talking horny,
and maybe we should stop calling that word horny. Maybe we should come up with a different term. Maybe this is a better term. I don't know.
Yeah, we probably should. We probably should, because the whole word is just kind of tricky, man. It's a little tricky, you know. So when we're talking about it, it's a blood flow, right? So something triggers your subconscious because arouses the subconscious, triggers your subconscious, and now you have some gonotropic releasing hormones that's telling your body to send some blood down to your pelvic region. Now you got some pelvic congestion. What can we do? Spiraling dance movements and spiraling the hips really, really helps. It really does. When you start having the blood collecting in your pelvis, it's going to give your body a sense of urgency. And they also find it call to action. So you really got to do something like, it's like swirling your hips for real. I know guys are like, to swirl my hips. Yeah, man, swirl your hips. You should be swirling your hips anyway, because if you do get a leg, you need to be able to work your hips, man. Stop being so freaking stiff. Come on now. Like, move your hips a little bit. And then in that, raising your legs up a lot, because it's going to help just reduce the blood flow in that area and put it into other parts of the body that match, right? Because when we do exercise, we start matching. You have more blood flow through the whole body. So it's going to match your pelvic congestion, right? But let's say we want to play with this energy and I don't want to direct it towards anything sexual for real. I would do, like I said a little bit earlier. So for me, I like day trading. And sometimes I'm not really interested in it the way I need to. So all of the arousal and horniness that I feel, I would put it to enjoying the activity that I'm trying to get myself to enjoy, right? So if you're trying to study for something, you start having a loving relationship with this thing. And this is not a sexual relationship. This is like, I appreciate what you are in the world. And this is where we start getting into like real deity communication. We get into like the mystery schools and shaman schools and stuff like that. When people are placating deities and trying to get them to do things for them or trying to get their attention, they often go in a subservient role. But there's a way that you can be in love with them by fully appreciating all of its faculties, right? So let's say Tahuti. If I wanted to fall in love with Tahuti, I would fall in love with the fruits of wisdom. And then I would take all of that congestion, all that congestion, and I would send it up my middle pillar simply by breathing. I feel it. I breathe into my pelvis a lot. until it feels tingling, because energy feels like tingling, buzzing, pulsing, hot or cold, feel like waves. I'm feeling in my pelvis, right? I'm breathing deeply, and then my heart's gonna start beating a little bit faster. And when that happens, then I might start going into a box breath, like I said. I'm breathing in for 4. I'm holding for 4. I'm breathing out for 4. Holding for 4. And then on the next inhale, I'm feeling and I'm sending it up. Right. And I'm not sending it to my third eye, family. Don't do that. That's dangerous. Honestly, for real, it's dangerous. Stop sending stuff to your third eye with such force. It's very dangerous. I send it up and I let it find the branches within myself that is tied to what I'm trying to bring down. Like wisdom is in your system. All you got to do is send the energy up and disperse it out with a call. I am now asking for this energy to be returned to me with information. Right. So now this wisdom starts coming in, and I love the fact that I have the access to do that. And I'm getting aroused. Arousal just means movement, family. It doesn't mean like sexual grasping. There's movement. There's magnetism. There's electricity happening, and I'm sending that, and I'm calling, and I'm dialing in specifically to the things that I want to grab. I move my body. I start laughing. I start dancing. I start crying, possibly because it feels so real, and I just let it be. Like, it's really like what your imagination can do. Like, the only thing that y'all have to do really is imagine and breathe. It's so simple. Tapping into your energy, they say, is easier than cracking an egg. The illusion is that there's something for you to do. Truthfully, guys, I know it doesn't sound like, truthfully, I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. But
Yeah.
there's something that we do have to get into, though, is energetic cords, and that's sucking a lot of y'all creativity up. Like, we interact with people every single day, and we don't cut cords on a regular basis. Right? We don't cut cords to the places that we've been, to the people we've talked to, all of our hairdressers, barbers, Uber drivers, doctors, nurses, everybody. We have, on average, thousands of cords that we picked up through our lives. They're just sitting there sucking up energy. They can be going to your thoughts. They can go to past lives, all kind of stuff. And it's very easy to cut them cords. We actually do a cord cut if y'all want to, but it's easy to cut those cords and then start sending energy back to ourselves to plug back into this system. And then when we do that, then we can radiate and actually collectively raise the default level of where our people are.
Indeed. Do you think a person, people are into all different types of relationships. Everybody has the right to do what they want. That's what they're into. Do you think a person, let's say a brother who's with one woman, he got a wife, he's been with this woman for a large amount of years, let's say 30 years or whatever, and then you got another brother who practices polygamy, he may have 3 wives, and they've been together for 30 years. Do you think the brother who has 3 wives is able to produce, and him and his wives are able to produce stronger sexual energy or stronger magnetic energy, stronger than a brother who just has one woman? Or does that not equate? It's not about how many people you have.
It's not really about, it depends on the brother, to be honest with you. Like, if the brother's tapped in and the women are tapped in, they could really do something. Like, because women magnify each other. Right? But he ain't gonna be able to last, man. And the reason why I tell you that, he gotta be a super strong cat. Super strong cat, man, because when women get aroused, it's like that melanin thing on 1,000. Like, a real arousal in a woman, Jesus, you're lucky if you can handle one. For real. Especially if she's like not afraid to be in her primal aspect.
Right.
She will blow you out that thing and across the room. Like, for real, baby. This is not even like no figurative speech. Like, she will blow you clearly out that thing on some scary movie situation, But a couple who has refined themselves. So let's talk for 2 different perspectives, right? You're a guy who practices polygamy, or a woman that practices polyamory, and you don't really have any built relationship with these people. You don't know these people for real. Like, you can date somebody for a year and still not know them, right? Like, what I'm talking about, People who've been married for 30 years, they got some energy cultivated, especially if they got into that place where it's on autopilot. They can do some major things because they understand what is the block to that person. I also understand what the key to this person's heart really, really is. So when I'm dealing with couples and we are trying to build intimacy, one of the things that we do is give real compliments to each other. Not, oh baby, you look pretty today. That's great and everything, but you have to compliment somebody in a way that's deep to their soul. Like, I appreciate how great of a mother you are, despite the fact that you're tired so much. Like, I see the wear and tear that you put on your body. Like, I appreciate your body so much, and its imperfection, its ripples, is this. Like, I see what it looks like when God as a woman moves about the earth, because I see the way you move about this earth and this, you know what I mean? It's like, I see you. I see what matters to you. Like, you were working on this doctorate. You've been missing school. You've been doing this. You've still been momming. And when you tell her that kind of stuff, it's going to hit her different than, you're cute or you my queen. Like, that's, stop. We give us real things. So after 30 years, we've been through the effed up stages. We've been through the things that possibly could break us apart and all this other stuff. And now we're just here, pure beings doing something. From that perspective, it ain't got to be 30 years. It could be 5 years. From that perspective, y'all can create everything. On the other hand, it's hard to get there with more than 2 people, right? I'm not going to say that you can't. I'm going to say it's very hard because the human dynamic is uncalculable. Like, it does some crazy stuff, and as soon as you think that you got people figured out, they be doing the weirdest things, right? So when we have 3 people involved, it's tough. And then especially in that polygamy thing, you don't know what your other partners are always doing, and it's just so much energetic interference, man. It's like, that's one thing, like, I don't really have to worry about my partner, like, because he a Capricorn and he's all about security. He's like, man, I ain't really trying to deal with other women because I don't know how crazy you are and I don't want to find out later. So I'm
telling you,
bruh.
I be telling them, man, hey,
it's not worth it. Yeah,
great.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So like, that's how we have our relationship. It's like, I don't care to go other places because I'm fully satisfied at home. But also, it's bad math, man. Like, I build something, like, what is this for? Like, I'm going to risk my whole relationship for 15 maybe minutes that may possibly be trash, and then you might get crazy about me? Oh no. Your dude might show up or your wife might show up. Oh no, baby, no. Too much interference.
Let's Adora, let's take a couple of Q&A from the people. It's been a magnificent show. I know y'all enjoying it. You got the chat popping tonight.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got about 1,600 people in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Give me some good questions. I'm gonna take a couple of questions before I get out of here. Give me some questions. King Simon is sharing Adara's links in the chat, so you could check her links out from King Simon. Shout out to King Simon. He's always holding down the chat. Yeah. The Queen got a PayPal, a Cash App, a website, a IG, a link tree.
I'm legit, fam.
Yeah, and you can text. Text on that number right there, the 470 number. So make sure y'all holler at her. First question I'm asking, because I thought this, but I moved on to the next. The person, I don't know. I think this is a sister. She wants to know, how do you cut the cords? Because you was talking about cutting the cords. How do you cut the cords?
Yeah, the cutting of cords is easy, actually. So it's something that like we can also do on some other time, because I like to do a group cord cutting, right, for everybody. But simply, and y'all can do it with me right now, family, if you want to. That's okay, Brother Rich. It's very, very, very simple. Very simple. So I just want you guys to get comfortable and sit. And like I was saying before, there are any number of cords attached to you at any given moment. And there are different kinds of cords. So you have the cords that you pick up just from random people that don't really mean much. And then you have cords of people that you love, that you are very invested in. And then you have cords that are attached to thought patterns that you have a lot. So what we are going to do, very easy and very simply, is shine a light to help illuminate to ourselves where these cords are. And then After you have shined the light inside yourself through this middle pillar, which I'm going to explain to you in a hot second, we ask for a guide. It could be, I choose somebody like Archangel Michael, or maybe an Ogun, or a Harakuti, or something like that, that can act as a supervisor for you as you're doing this, because some of these energies are designed to usher wayward spirits out and to put it into fraudulent contracts, and there's a lot of different departments in the spiritual world. There is really fire. So karma is something that can be dealt with at any time. So we come into this life with karma, and we have the ability to change it and heal at any time. And the people that we come in contact with, some people say that everybody we touch, have sex with, we have a contract with them. You can believe that or not, it doesn't matter. But once you start having sex with them and you start lending your energy, now you actually have a cord. This is also the people you got an argument with. You have a cord. So family, I want y'all to think about people you have arguments with, people that you feel like is draining your energy or is always in your way. I want you to think about the things that you tell yourself on a daily basis. I want you to think about all of this stuff that could possibly weigh you down. We're just going to take a second to center ourselves. We're going to feel our lower stomach. We're going to feel our solar plexus area. We're going to feel our heart. Right hand on the third eye, left hand on the crown. And we're doing this just to make connection with this center pillar. So this is called our Sushumna pillar, our Sushumna Nadi. In my tantric school, it's the tower. And this is our Jed pillar, that is our energy center that is connecting us, and our power plant is connecting us to this cosmic morphogenetic field, if you will. And we're just going to, in this area right here, right above your solar plexus and slightly below your heart, right in this little sternum area, we're just going to let white light just come out. Like imagine this little door from your spine. The door just opens up, breathing fully, and just letting some white light come in. It could be cool. It could have a little twinge of silver to it. Okay. And as you do this, I want you to feel what it feels like in the rest of your body. So when I did it, immediately the back of my arm started getting hot. All right, I got a massage at the nail spot today. Clearly, cut it off, honey. But I feel it on the back of my arm. I feel it in my pelvis a little bit. I feel it above my lungs and the back of my rib cage. So just feel, family, just feel, and just watch. Use this light to look around and look about. You don't have to see anything. You don't have to see anything. This is an exercise that brings more clarity with it. So now I'm just going to ask for Archangel Michael just to come in and supervise this as we're doing it. And we're just going to choose our dominant hand. And you can just put any kind of cutting device that you would like on this dominant hand. It could be, for me, it's like a little icicle thing from like Killer Instinct. I'm old, but it's a video game. But anyways, a icicle cutting blade. All right, it could be a laser. It could be anything. And you're simply going to start coming up over your body from your left arm down your fingers. And this white light showing you all the attachments where these cords are. Just cutting them. Cutting them. Now these ones that we're cutting now are from things that don't matter to us whatsoever. This is the person on the bus. This is the person at the airport. This is the lady that hands you your sandwich. We're just cutting it, cutting it, cutting it, cutting it, cutting it over your head, ears, nipples, penis, vagina, feet, cut them. The back, the side, cut them. And what you want ideally is, as you're cutting, for all the cords that are supposed to be in place to come into your center line, you want all of your cords just coming down your central line. Okay? And as you're cutting these cords, you're also feeling the energy that you've been lending out to them coming back into you slowly. And we ask for this to happen with grace, God, for energy to come back to people with grace. Mm. Easy, smooth, and perfect organization. Now, family, when we're doing this type of work and the energy is flowing, and it could be energy that we haven't felt before, we want to put the golden ratio on it. You want to put the golden ratio on it so that it guarantees perfect unfolding and that it folds for you in a beautiful way. That way you don't get hijacked or over exerted or overwhelmed, because this energy is hot. Which is why mommy was like, don't put the energy in your head, baby, because this is hot. This is really, really hot energy. So you gotta be really gentle with this. And then as this energy is coming back to you, you're gonna let your heart, your mind, your organs recalibrate. And when you get better at this, you can do this as long as you like. You come back to this. You can do this at any moment. But as you get deeper with this, though, family, those things that are not so easy to cut are going to start showing up. And you're supposed to look at them. And instead of cutting certain cords, like cutting your cord to your baby dad, we're going to mend this cord. We're going to shift the nature of the energy of this cord. I'm going to change what kind of energy I'm sending through this cord, or we're going to sever it and let it die a little bit. So now you have a sovereign perspective of how you end and navigate things, so you're not just abruptly ending. Also, some of these cords are going to have like hooks and thorns and daggers. Like I had one to impatience, and yeah, it was really impatience and time. I had an issue with time, man. It was like around my heart. It was like lush, notched in like a big vine. And I was in the bathtub and I did the same practice. And a lot of these cords are not going to be ready to come out. These bigger ones, they're not going to be ready to come out. So you have to talk to them and like slowly start mentally and emotionally pulling these things out. And then talk to the cord like, what do I have to do to help you integrate? If you're not ready to integrate now, what needs to change so that you can integrate? And then you start making that change in your life and you go back to a deeper cord cutting, you know? And then you find out, oh, this one came from when I was a Romanian girl. And so Romanian version of me, did I do what I need to do? Can you now integrate? Yes, no, boom, boom, boom. And now this cord comes here, your energy's back, your heart is open, realign, and now we get to put whatever you want to refill it with. All right, so I just want everybody to breathe deeply. Honoring yourself for wherever you are in your process and wherever you are in your journey, whatever you're really willing to let go of and not let go of. You might have to cut a cord several times because there is a momentum of emotion there. There's somebody that you loved for a long time and it really is over. But there's still an emotional momentum that you have to break. So you have to be honest and graceful with yourself and loving, compassionate with yourself as you navigate through it. And then we call our guides, just like we call Archangel Michael, we call our Oshuns, we call our grandmother, we call Pachamama, we call Kuan Yin, we call the energy of the river, we call Mary Magdalene, the Divine Mother, to nurse us in this as we are having the courage to go through this experience of humanity. And then the codes start downloading, family. And now, next time you go into your cord cutting, it's that much stronger, it's that much clearer, that much connected, that much powerful. And your energy has been refined. And now your creativity is back online because what you're trying to create now is something that's truly serving you, truly putting you back in a place of power, and truly giving you joy and peace and blessings in your life. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful for you. And cord cutting is easy, baby.
All right, all right. Let's get to the next question. I know y'all enjoyed that. Right there. Yeah, let's get to the next question. Uh, okay, how to avoid psychosis and mental episodes from increased energetic flow?
Oh, yeah. So what you're talking about is ascension syndrome. And there are a couple of different ways. And the first one is to respect the energy that you're trying to cultivate. All right. So whether you guys are doing, like I said, spell crafting and dark magic and this and that, all of this is very powerful energy, and you have to have a system wired to handle it. Otherwise, you will go crazy. You will go crazy, and you have to ground yourself out. Grounding yourself out is more than just putting your feet in the dirt. That's convenient, but that's not exactly going to get you there. It'll help a little bit, but it's not going to really help you. But balancing your chakras regularly would help a lot. Also, so what I mean by balancing, I mean orient them into relation with each other. So if you are trying to deal with your third eye, you want to make sure that your third eye is also balanced with your root. And then your root is also balanced in with the earth star chakra. This is all stuff that you can do by imagining. Okay. There are different exercises, simple stuff like pointing your fingers, 3 fingers down. Boom. Like standing, 3 fingers down. In a Wuji stance, with your knees bent a little bit. Okay? That's going to help the energy come down off of you. Also, cool water, cold showers will also help you get out of a very intense episode. Eating heavy foods, because it's going to bring the energy out of your head down into your body. And this is like for emergency type of things. Now we're talking about general, I want to make sure that I don't go crazy. The processing of emotions, and really more than that, is having a system of universal law that you adhere yourself to. So for me, I use the tree of life. And the tree of life gives me a framework in which to base myself on, so I know that I'm not crazy, right? So, for instance, if I'm giving up the lesser for the greater, how can I call it sacrifice? Is a law of Aset, right? She's a law of the Divine Mother. So if I'm having a hard time choosing the things that I need to let go of in my life, and it's causing me problems, then, and me giving it up is going to make a better life for me, then it's easy for me to navigate that, so that I don't have the mental confusion of making crazy ideas and then turning energy coming from my family in weird directions and all this type of stuff. Like the way that we orient our energy really does matter, right? And then these limiting beliefs are actual physical things in your energy field. Physical things in your energy field. Like they're actual bubbles here and here. There's actually tears here. That's another reason you got no sexual energy, because you got rips all in your aura all over the place. Everything that you're trying to do to build up is just leaking out crazy, and then your aura is all weird shaped, right? So your energy is supposed to be smooth. So when you have climax and orgasm, your energy actually smooths out because of the release of oxytocin. Kids knocking on the door. Your energy smooths out. But when we're having these abrupt thoughts and this scattered energetic energy, your aura starts spiking here, spiking there. If you do cocaine, your energy starts twisting over here. Your head will start coming this way. Like if your assemblage point gets off, like your whole, you have mental illness at this point. So just keeping the energy field tended to is just going to really ensure that you don't have mental issues. And then being radically honest with yourself, which is actual self-love, because you want the best for yourself. And being honest is the only way to get there. All right. So I appreciate that question, sir.
Indeed. Yo, Dar, you in Georgia?
I am. My office is actually right across from Black Wall Street.
Oh, you right there. Okay. Yo, you know we going to Stone Mountain. You should come with us. You should come with us up there to Stone Mountain.
Oh yeah.
We're going on June 28th.
Yeah, I probably ain't gonna make it out there. I don't see why I can't.
Yeah, that'll be it's on. We going on Sunrise. By the way, family, tomorrow Chief Top Cats will be live on the channel, and he's coming as well to the Stone Mountain trip on June 28th. Actually, the idea to go to Stone Mountain was formulated on the last show I did with Chief Top Cat. So
Very nice.
Yeah, so he will be there, but he'll be live tomorrow, family. 9:00. So make sure you're tuning into that. 9:00 tomorrow, Chief Top Cats. Let's get to. We're gonna do one last question before we get out of here. Why did she say don't force energy to the third eye chakra?
Because of the actual wattage that you are channeling. That's why it's literally a wire. Like you don't want to plug a high capacity appliance into a regular wall socket, it'll short your house out. It's the same thing. This is literally energetics and magnetism. So electricity is hot, very, very hot. And to control electricity, you have to gauge it, right? We have to make sure that the output and the input are able to hold the same capacity. So when you are using mental energy, which is very strong, to send an energy that is even stronger to a little human pimple that we call a pineal gland, no disrespect, but it's a small thing. It can totally throw off your whole brain chemistry. There are people who've gone blind doing this, doing the microcosmic orbit too strong, gone blind. There's people who've done the microcosmic orbit too strong and their hormonal makeup has changed totally. So there's yin chi and there's yang chi. There's hot chi, there's cool chi. There's so many different paths of doing it. And not even just in the West, we are so tied into force. You don't have to force this thing. Power is already there. You just have to put awareness and attention there. So send the energy, send it gently with grace, right? Why do you have to pop your third eye open? Can you not trust that it knows how to operate? This also comes from the perspective that there's so much wrong with us. Yes, there's heavy metals. Yes, there's this, there's that. But you mean to tell me, this is my perspective because I live in this world. You mean to tell me that the etheric and the astral third eye is damaged from your heavy metals? No. If you're going to send energy in a strong way, send it to the etheric organ that governs all the organs, right? Send it to the body elemental's third eye. So most of the third eyes around you can open and most of the hearts can open and all this other stuff. Like there's reasons why people sit under teachers for years. And that is so they don't break themselves. And this is very real. So a lot of the techniques that we learn out here is not designed to be practiced in the society that we have. As a shaman, this is something that I have to deal with when I can't work a regular job. Before, there was a place for shamans in the community. This is something a lot of spiritual people deal with. You were of the shaman tribe or the shaman collective, or you are a seer or a healer or a wisdom keeper. And there's supposed to be a place made for you in society, that you used to be held in regard in your society. That's not the case now. We don't have ashrams for you to be practicing Kundalini activations. Kundalini activation is a very real and a very dangerous science. This is not to be toyed with. It can be done. I do it all the time, but with the fear of God. Please believe it. I've seen people not come back, family. It is not a joke. Like I have to laugh and stop from crying. Seriously. And that's why in my office we have therapists. If y'all need some therapy, we can take insurance. We have mental health professionals. You have me over here. We have people who are trained in all kinds of chiropractors, all kinds of things, because we are not playing with you in your mental health. We're not playing with you in your physical health. We are legitimate with this thing, because no matter what you do on your spiritual path, you're not here by yourself. And I guarantee you, you have somebody who loves you. And you did not tell them that you're sending energy to your third, and not just this person, but in general. You're not telling them the practices that you're practicing. And when you start being weird, you scare your family, and they don't know what to do. And your kids don't know how to process it, right? So we got to really think about the gravity of what it is that we're out here doing and handle this junk with respect. Mm-hmm. Handle it with respect, fam, for real, for real, for real. So this is out of love and just CYA of Adara. Don't send it up there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Hey, with that being said, wow, what a show. The people loved it. So many. Listen, we could be on here 4 more hours with all the questions that's in the chat. I would advise y'all to holler at Adara. Her information is in the chat from King Simon. But tell the people, for those who may not see the chat, tell them your contact information so they get at you.
I'm most active on Instagram. So Instagram at Adara Moselle. That'll have my link tree where you get my website and everything else. Y'all can also go to adaramoselle.com/podcast. I made a page just for the Black Magic people, just so you guys can come through easily and see what we got going on. We got classes, workshops. There's a physical location here in Atlanta, and then we have a physical location in DC at Temple Mother Earth. So if you're in the DMV area, tap in up there. My brother is going to be doing monthly tantra stuff, and they do all kind of stuff almost every day of the week. So y'all just check us out. adaramoselle.com/podcast, IG at Adara Moselle. You can find everything else from there.
Indeed. I appreciate Adara. I appreciate you for coming on the show. Next time we need to have like a where people could call in live. I know they're gonna want to call in live and do some Q&A like that. But shout out to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. A great, amazing show. Make sure you'll share this to someone who could definitely benefit from the show. Adara, once again, thank you, King Simon. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock with Chief Top Cats. Peace and love, family. All right, peace, Adara.
Peace, love.
See you tomorrow, family.